Good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday, September 28th. Yes, I did just have to look at my computer to figure out what day it was. About 1:30 in the afternoon, so I'm a little late getting to you today, but I have been remiss in doing the daily wisdom shots for the last couple days because I decided to do a few special readings and got busy with a few things. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do your reading for today. And I've got my face back on here because I started doing the voice recordings instead because I found that or at least I feel like I focus better when I'm not looking at my own face. So either I have to not look at my face, or I have to do voice recordings. And I think it's kind of weird not to look at the screen when you are facing yourself. Anyway, so let's get going. Actually, I did not prep these cards before hitting record, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay. All right, I'm going to shuffle them. Normally I do this before I start recording because, like, why do it on a voice recording? I don't know why that seems different to me than doing it on a video recording. But for those of you who are super paranoid that people are like just picking out whatever cards they want, here's your shuffle and deal right on screen. Like, do people really do that? I don't know. I just I literally don't have time to decide what I think I want to tell people and to plan it out like that. Like, I don't know. I guess people probably do, but I don't. So this is going to be a collective reading for guidance for today for our highest and best good. This may not apply to you or resonate with you as it's for quite a few people. So if it does not resonate, please don't force it to. It's fine. Maybe a later reading will. Okay. Guidance for the collective, please, for today. Interesting. Bottom of the deck is the Chariot. So this is definitely a time of, I'm getting like number one, healing, even though that's not usually what I see in the Chariot, but it's healing because it's providing the open road, the open pathway for our desires and determination to move forward and to be able to make headway that we've been wanting to make for a while, but it's just like we just like we're having trouble opening the road. So now the road is open, and we are going to be able to move forward in achieving what we're trying to achieve right now, whatever that might be. I know these things are super general, and there's so many of you listening that it's like it's hard to put more detail into that. A lot of you that we're talking about relationships right now. A lot of you we're talking about jobs. A couple of you it's family relationships. Somebody it's weight loss goals. But it's the kind of energetic healing that's been necessary to provide you the self-discipline and also empowerment to be able to take these steps forward in a meaningful way, as opposed to the stop and start that you've been doing. If that resonates with you, this reading is probably for you. If you've been stopping and starting, like getting to a certain point and then like panicking, freaking out, or losing your nerve, this is probably for you because that's ending now. You are moving forward far more um, forcefully and far more definitively than in the past. So the first card is the Two of Wands, and under it is Justice. And what I'm seeing there is that you have set your desire for more balance in your life. You're no longer accepting the emotional manipulation and the um, sort of backhanded bullshit that you keep getting handed by people in your life and by situations, whether that be job, your boss, career, your partner, your family. You're not accepting that anymore. You realize that there's something better. You realize that there's something that's more balanced for you and that you deserve. You're understanding what you deserve at this point. And you've kind of set your sights on that. And it might seem to be far away. It might seem to be like pie in the sky, or like you're asking to have the world. You're asking to hold the world in your hands, is kind of what some of you feel like. But what it really is that you're asking for is completely attainable as long as you are able to focus your intention and then let it go. Let it go to the universe. You can't obsess over it. You have to have some amount of detachment from it in order for it to be able to show up in the physical world, for it to come to um, fruition in the physical world. So I feel like this is just the beginning stages of that. At least this phase of it, because I feel like this is probably the next phase in something that you've been working on for a long time. You're kind of trying to visualize how it will look. And I just want to caution you not to be too specific in your visualization, because then you start limiting yourself in how this can show up for you. So you always want to say, ask for what you want and say that you ask for that or something better than you could ask or imagine. Um, and always for your highest and best good, so that then you're not co-creating something that is not what would fulfill your desire or your mission in this life. Um, it's just, I'm getting that there's a lot of empowerment happening right now and more boldness. So grasp onto that and use it to your advantage. Um, it's almost like you have been, here's the six, or I'm sorry, the Eight of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. So one of the messages I'm getting from that is you've held yourself back because you feel like you're not good enough for the things that you want. It's as I said before, it's like you feel like you're asking for the world, and you are, but you also deserve that. Um, you wouldn't desire it so strongly if it wasn't meant for you, or some part of the path to there wasn't meant for you. So it doesn't mean that you get everything that you want. You just get what you want sometimes in a way that you didn't expect. So that's why you have to remove your very specific vision of how these things are going to come about so that you can receive it in the most open way possible. So I feel like I feel like this is you feeling like you're not somehow not worthy, um, or that the things that you want are not coming to you because they're not coming to you in the way that you pictured or have been imagining. This is like perfectionism. This is like having a vision, excuse me, and being really specific about that, how that comes about. So we're being asked to really release that right now, so that you can receive this cup in the way in which um, our higher self knows to receive it. Um, this is also us in some ways ignoring our higher self, and as a result, not receiving the things that we are hoping for or that we want. This is like discontent and boredom and like feeling unfulfilled. And the thing that fulfills us is right here, but we're not noticing it because it's like we're so stuck in the way that we want to see it that it's not coming through completely. So we need to release the ideas about how it has to happen or how it's coming through. Because it is there. It's like right in your energy field waiting to come in. Uh, it's just all about the energy that we use to be able to call it in. Sorry if my dogs bark. I just heard somebody go in the office downstairs. Ugh. Um, yeah, there you go. It's Lewis, it's all about continuing to work on your path, but like with a more open mind and a more open heart. I feel like there's some acknowledgement and communication about your heartbreak with the Page of Cups. So this is like acknowledging the ways in which we've been disappointed in the past and not allowing that to affect the way that we expect things to happen in the future. Like this is a really important time for manifestation, and are holding on to this, and we probably don't even realize the way in which we're holding on to this. In holding on to it, we're creating more of this. We're creating more of this like um, disastrous, I'm hearing disastrous outcomes like torment and anxiety and pain, just heart-based pain. And by acknowledging that and communicating our pain, even if to no one but ourselves, that is allowing it to be opened up and then released, because the release is the most important thing that we can do with heartbreak. A lot of people feel like I had a reading like this recently where my client was like, I have a need for justice. I need to have justice because of this thing that was done to me on an emotional level. And this is my point of view, so you don't have to necessarily agree with it. But the way that I felt about that is it's not really our job to seek justice for that kind of stuff. Like that's karma. We don't even have to do that. We can just know and trust that that is going to come through because that's how the universe works. But it's our job to then um, take the results of what happened and we decide what to do with it. So we can decide to like let these three swords be lodged there and like let them block off our energy and let like the old scars grow over them so that this just becomes this huge mass of disgusting bullshit. Or we can take the approach that we start pulling out these swords one at a time, no matter how ugly it is and how much you ugly cry and like how much you look like this, for the 25 minutes it takes to get through that. And believe me, it can be fast. If you let it be fast, if you allow it to be fast, if you believe it can be fast, it can be fast. You don't have to, there's no rules on how to get through heartbreak. It's just that the only rule is that the only way through it is through it. So as long as you're willing to put that in, you're willing to put the work in for that, and you're willing to acknowledge this heartbreak to yourself and what it really looks like and what it really is, then you're doing it. You're going through it. Communicating this to another person can be helpful. If you do not have another person that you feel comfortable and confident communicating this to, please just write it down, because then you're communicating it to yourself, and it's like you're letting the fish out of the cup. You are letting that, yeah, and the fish to me right now is feeling really like a good symbol, because you know that feeling in your heart space, like when you've got something going on, when you're like distraught about something, or you do have heartbreak going on, and it feels like a wet, like cold fish flopping around in your energy space. Like maybe that's just me, but um, that's how it feels to me, and that's one of the ways that I know I have something I need to release like immediately, or it's going to start causing me problems, and it will cause you emotional problems, and it can get all the way down to the physical. So it's so important to take the swords out and to acknowledge them and to let them go. Um, that means starting the process of healing on the heart level with and this could involve you really speaking your truth and saying something to somebody about how they've treated you or what they've done to you. If you feel like that's truly going to help and not make things worse, that's always the question I ask. Is this going to help, or is this going to make it worse? Um, then do that if it's going to help. Or if there is something that really needs to be spoken in order for you to move on, like you can't just like not show up at your job ever again. Like that would be sort of shitty. So at that point, you do have to do some kind of, you know, expressing of something to your boss or whatever, like, hey, this isn't fulfilling me anymore. I need to move on. Even if you decide not to go into personal details, like, you really hurt me when you XYZ. So, um, you have to decide in that situation if that's going to help or hurt you. But there's usually healing in expression. And so letting that fish loose is going to help you letting that fish out of the cup. If it's in a relationship, it might be acknowledging the end of it. One of my clients recently, after a couple readings with me, came to me and she was like, we decided to get a divorce, and it's the best thing we ever did because now we have each other's backs. And um, the pressure to make this work is suddenly gone, and we're friends again. And I just felt like that was um, so telling of a lot of the situations that are happening right now in different, in different like situations, because it's like you find the place where you are the square peg trying to fit into the round spot, and where it's just not working. And you admit that to yourself. You admit these things and you verbalize it. And then you're all on the same page, and everybody's acting from a place of truth and not a place of trying to force things to be what they aren't. This is recognizing what it isn't so that you can move forward. That is my guidance for the day. And again, the chariot. This is what's needed to move you forward. This is unblocking, unfucking yourself. As I said the other day, I don't even know where that came from. I'm pretty sure there's like a book or something about that. But anyway, unblock yourself to move forward. Next card underneath, Queen of Wands, stepping into your power, creating your own reality. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay. I hope this is helpful to you guys. Please like, subscribe, share. Every comment that you leave, I do my best to reply to, and I appreciate them because it shows me that somebody is listening and somebody is helped by this, and it makes it all worth it for me. Okay. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.